A world where music does not make an environmental impact is a world without music.
There have never been more ways to listen to music. Streaming is king, but physical music sales of vinyl, CDs and even cassette tapes are on the rise. But the creativity of the industry isn't just confined to the music, with artists, bands and labels also doing their bit to help the environment.
I think the music industry has really woken up.
Everyone wants to sort out the climate emergency.
We're all outlets for change. Musicians do.
The first 3 months of 2021 saw more than 1 million vinyl records sold in the UK, a 16% rise from the previous year.
Vinyl has, I think, taken us all by surprise. This last year, it has gone beyond the realms that anybody could have imagined.
But the amount of plastic involved in the making, packaging and distribution of albums means the environmental impact of vinyl can be high.
PVC, polyvinyl chloride, which is the plastic mainly used to produce LPs, is known as a particularly nasty form of plastic.
PVC is highly recyclable and it's built to last, but it can be toxic when eventually disposed of.
When you dispose of it, which is usually either by burning it or by burying it in the ground, it releases toxic chemicals either into the air or again into the ground.
But most people don't get their music through vinyl, CDs and cassettes anymore.
We now take for granted that you can pull from the cloud an unlimited amount of music with a basically unlimited catalog all the time at any point.
Around 487 million people worldwide are subscribed to a music streaming service. And in terms of plastic use, this seems far more sustainable. Just look at how much less plastic is used since most of us started downloading and streaming music. But that doesn't tell the whole story.
Digital files take up space, and at every point in the infrastructure of the internet, digital files require energy. There's that storage infrastructure with server farms and things, and then there's the transmission infrastructure, which is moving the data, the streaming music from those servers, and then eventually to more kind of local access networks like your computer, the wireless router, which I'm looking up there too in my office. And that energy is dependent on a local electricity grid. When you're streaming an album, you are using energy and you are releasing greenhouse gases.
Since downloading and streaming became the most popular way to listen to music, greenhouse gas emissions have gone way up. And these figures are from 2016. Streaming usage has massively increased since then.
It's not the individual per play stream that's environmentally damaging. What the problem is aggregate use, I guess. So you have now billions of consumers who are taking for granted the fact that they can pull data from the cloud, which has an energy cost, all the time.
Listening to music isn't destroying the world, and it isn't even the biggest climate issue in the music industry when you factor the travel and plastic use caused by touring. But all of it does have an impact, and there are plenty of bands, artists, labels and manufacturers trying to reduce the harm the industry is doing to the environment.
And it's all about changing the world, right? And if anyone's listening, they just, it's the vibe, you know what I'm saying? You feel me, bro?
A.Y. Young talks about environmental issues in his music, powers his live shows by battery, and is even one of the UN's young leaders for sustainable development goals.
I was talking to a really big music manager, and there's this guy talking to him about me, and he's explaining to this major industry guy, yo, AY's doing these concerts with renewable energy. And the guy looked at us in our face and was like, oh, that's not possible. You can't do a concert powered by batteries. This was 2 weeks ago. The guy was like, oh, excuse me, he's actually done 800 of them. So has it been hard? Yes, it's been hard, but also it was necessary. And now I'm here. Now I'm one of the 17 young leaders. Now I have the opportunity to use music as a vehicle, right? Because it's a universal language. It can bring everyone together, right? So we can actually make sustainable, regenerative change.
The hardcore band Ithaca are trying to address the issue too. They have reissued their debut record on recycled vinyl and say environmentalism is becoming increasingly important to them.
Kind of music scenes we come from, punk and metal and rock, you know, they have a tradition of being countercultural, of being political, you know, and we think that one of the most important political challenges that we can be involved in as a band is the climate crisis.
But for bands of their size, it's hard to make a major impact.
The price incentives are skewed in favour of business as usual, in favour of supporting, you know, the fossil fuel industry and the plastics industry and the petrochemical industry. So it is harder for smaller bands to make the right decisions or make the decisions that they would like to make. But that will change. If we, as a tiny little metallic hardcore band, can make the right decisions, why can't the majors?
And it's not just bands and artists trying to make a difference. Record label Ninja Tune say sustainability is a priority for them.
We stopped using plastic CD jewel cases because they have a high footprint, and we switched from 180 gram pressings of vinyl in some cases to now all our pressings are at 140 grams. We're looking to eliminate air freight from the shipping costs. We don't want a situation where saving the planet involves never listening to music or only listening to music once in a while or not doing the things we love. It's not about not doing things, it's about choosing the best way to do these things.
The answer to all of these issues is not don't listen to music. It is a huge part of everyday life and brings joy for hundreds of millions of people around the world.
If you had no music industry, the world would be a terrible place.
But the issue of sustainability in the music industry speaks to something bigger, how we balance enjoying our lives with being as sustainable as possible, and how we have a personal responsibility to do something, even if it seems like it's just something small.
A lot of people wonder, should I listen to music less? Should I listen in moderation? Should I not listen at all? Don't not listen at all.
The problems that the music industry is facing in terms of its environmental impact are industrial choices. They are changeable.
Music is one of the good ways to be living in the world. Having said that, we need to make this transition of decarbonization urgently, quickly, just like any other industry or any other culture or sector of human activity on the planet. And that's the bottom line.